Hello and welcome back to the Clismcast with me, Meoni, for another dungeon guide. Today we're looking at the bosses within the Antitower. This is a level 60 instance that you'll need to be 180 item level average to be able to queue for. It's locked behind the main story of patch 3.2 The Gears of Change. The Antitower is a visually impressive trek into the surreal as we approach and navigate an upside down castle. The trash is nothing to be concerned about, but does have the usual gated areas needing trash to be killed to progress. The first boss then is Rogo. This is a Rogo frog fight just outside the castle itself. This guy is fairly easy. His main thing is that he spawns adds throughout the fight, and he puts frog debuffs on 2 random players, and spawns 2 more adds which need to be killed for the frog debuff to disappear. The adds are priority as your healer will be very likely to be one of the toad transformations, and in this instance the sooner they die, the sooner your party can be healed once again. In terms of actual abilities himself, Rogo has 2. The first is Toy Hammer. This is a long cast ability targeting only your tank. When it goes off it will do moderate damage and it will leave behind a dispellable concussion debuff you'll need to take off if you are the healer as soon as possible. The second ability is Water Bomb. This is a circle AoE that does a decent amount of damage that you can heal through with no major issues, but that's pretty much it for the frog. So now let's move into the tower proper. Leading past some of the more interesting scenery then to your second boss, this is Ziggy the Spriggan. This guy is an obvious callback to David Bowie, which is obviously pretty cool, and some of the abilities reflect that further. During the fight, the boss will spawn 3 stones called Stardust. These rocks will have a circle AoE that will expand as time goes on. The idea here then is to kill them before they fill the entire room. The rocks will become a solid object when the AoE finishes, and these can be used to hide behind when the boss uses a tether ability on one player later on. That player needs to hide behind a stone. If they fail to do so, the damage is either a kill or very near to a kill of that player depending on their HP pool, so pay attention to that tether mechanic. Additionally to the mechanic of these stones, the boss will spawn adds. These adds are your main priority and need to be killed as soon as possible. However, in terms of main abilities, Ziggy likes to do a frontal AoE cone that you can avoid, and an ability called Gyrating Glare. This is an ability where everyone in a room must hide behind the remaining stones to avoid room-wide damage. Other than that, it's a really simple fight, and it's nice to see the Starman immortalised in this game in some way. Rest in peace. Moving on to the last boss of the instance, or should I say bosses. This is Cabrinha. She starts out as 6 small dolls, 3 of which are named Calca, and the other 3 are named Brina. These things do all manner of nasty AoE patterns for you to avoid, but once they're all dead they merge into one main boss and the proper boss fight begins with Cabrinha. The main thing to look out for here is to look away from a boss if anyone in your party gets a red eye above their head. I chose to mention this first as it's one of the main damage sources from the fight that can be easily avoided. If you fail to turn away from the boss when a red eye on one of your party members is up, she'll do a painful blast in the direction of the eye's location and cause concussion to anyone hit. Other than being aware of the eye, the boss has a multitude of other abilities to be aware of. Dollhouse is an ability that turns 2 players into dolls, namely a Calca and one Brina. These adds need to be killed to free the players trapped inside them, otherwise they run around the entire room damaging your party, usually your healer. Slapstick is a channeled AoE that the boss does whilst Dollhouse is active, so this is another reason to end the Dollhouse phase as quickly as possible by killing the dolls as soon as you can. And finally, Knockout is a casted ability that does a great deal of damage to just the tank that needs to be aware of and healed through, so make sure that you're topping the tank up. As long as you make sure the party members are mostly topped up in health if you're the healer, prior to any phase transitions, and that the adds are killed quickly enough, then you should have no worries clearing the Antitower, and enjoy the next few cutscenes. A lot of them are very pretty damn exciting and spoilerific. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope this was helpful in some way, and until the next dungeon guide, I'll see you next time.